Hey, 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 plant seeds every day. I promise I won't sing on this channel. It's definitely not my forte, but I know it's kind of hard to see because I'm gonna back this table up a little bit more, but I know I said I'd show you how I start my seeds and how easy it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach these two grow lights to my shelf, and you probably can't see, but I've got a 3 prong extension cord, heavy duty extension cord that I've zip tied to this so that I can just boom, 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 plug my lights in because they don't have an off switch. They're just plug in, plug out. And then I've got, so this shelf will hold more than I'll start at one time. But since I only have 2 seed mats, I'm only going to start 2 trays of seeds at a time. And funny story, so I'm like fire safety paranoid, and I didn't have my GFCI hooked up or anything like that yet, which I can show you guys my GFCI cord. You can get them anywhere for like 15 to 50 bucks. I just happen to have one already because, like I said, I worked construction for a long time, and it's a must-have on a job site or anywhere, really, that you're plugging a bunch of crap in. But I didn't realize, and I was having my dummy moment because, again, I don't know everything, like, it does not come au naturel on the first day. You want to keep your seed mats on. You want to shut your lights off because you only want so many hours of light. But I was unplugging my heat mats, and you actually do want to keep them consistently warm. So that was a mistake I made last year. So now you know, learn from my mistakes. But I'm going to go ahead and I've cut, you see me use this in a lot of DIY videos. I can't remember how much these rolls cost because I have a few of them just lying around, but I use them for everything. So I've gone ahead and cut a couple wire pieces here. Now these did come with like an assembly like hanger, like wires that came off of them. But the way my shelf is set up, I want these butted up here because if it hangs down here, then it's too close to my plants. So I'll go ahead and rig these up off camera and save you any swear words, but I'm going to take this wire and put it through the holes that go all the way through and then rewire it up to my shelf. And I'll leave the plugs will be off the back, obviously. And then I'll measure down with the tape measure. And let me grab, I have a note on that too. Now this will come with your lights, but again, like I was saying in the last video, you know, the halogen and the old school grow lights, again, friendly reminder, we are growing food seeds. This is not a video on growing anything else. So you want to start your plants out at there's 3 stages of growing: your seedlings, vegetative state, and then when it's going to flower and fruit. And so that's when you want more light exposure, and you want it actually closer to the light. So when we start them out, we actually want them 24 to 36 inches away from the light. And then as they, as it sprouts and then it gets that 3rd leaf, then you can move it up to the vegetative state. And so that'll be another thing you'll want to account for on your shelf, however you do it. You don't have to double rig it up like I have. I'm just doing that because, again, I'm trying to more mass produce. I want to be able to sell other people the plants that I've started. That's just another way that I stream my income, is while I'm waiting for the vegetables, I can sell live plants and, again, help other people who didn't get to start theirs in the winter. So, full scale mission here. I'm there at every stage, so you can get seeds. I give seeds away. I will sell the plants, and then I will sell the fruit. So the fruit, vegetables, you call it a fruit either way. The flower is the fruit. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I'll just show you when I get it set up, about measured out. Honestly, it's going to be close on this bottom shelf. I'm assuming it's going to be cutting it really close on being too close. So maybe I'll want to, you know, maybe this top shelf will end up setting up as my cat's getting up here. Get Ruthie. Come on, Ruth. Oh, I don't know why she's up there. I had to put the food up on this, my work table because my pit bull keeps eating all the cat food. So, he comes in here and sneaks it, and, you know, he's so big, it's like he gets the whole bowl in one bite. So it's like all day long I'm filling this little cat bowl up. But anyways, sorry, back to the plants. You know, it may end up being like stage 1, stage 2, or vice versa. For me on my setup. So you'll just have to plan accordingly, you know, what works for you. Are your shelves adjustable? I know this is like a heavy duty plant rack, but I picked it up at a thrift shop for like $40. So I got like a $90-$100 heavy duty shelf, you know, for half price. But they've painted it red. They've spray painted it. I'm not offended. I love red. But I'm not really feeling like, for me at this point, I can't go back in and adjust it, because it's just kind of set the way it is. So, plan for that. But again, for my seed startup, you know, you can use any shelf. You can get one of those. They've gone up in price now. I think you can get them for around $60, depending on what time of year. A lot of people throw them away. You can find them used, but that, like mobile greenhouse, backyard greenhouse that's like plastic, and it's literally just a shelf, and it has the triangle. I had mine for years and it broke, and I finally like curbed it. I'll just say it. Funny story. I kept all the little poles because they're like, and I have them on a window in my garage that won't lock. And so I set them all down in front of this window. Because I've accidentally stepped on one and about rolled on my ass. And so I totally went, if you knew the side of town I lived on where I live, always be prepared. But, so I have this whole row of all these little bars sitting on the floor. So if someone comes in that window, they're going to hit it like a roller thing and just boom, right on their butt. And then they'll wake the shop dog up. And then they'll be in trouble. I digress. Easy target? I think not. Anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and rig these up. So again, we're making our starter shelf. You know, if you're only getting one, this is $25 to $30. I've got two. I know inflation came into play since I bought these. So let's go ahead and say $60 for 2 lights. $30 for the 2-pack of heat mats. That's less than $100 to be able to start your seeds indoor. I will run out back to my big outdoor thing that holds all my seed trays. I have seed trays that hold, they're different size cells, and so some hold 72 and some hold like 187. Now here's what I'm going to tell you. I am not a greenhouse. I am not someone who's been doing this for, 30 some years. I mean, yeah, I'm almost 40 and I've been a gardener like almost my whole life. But as far as the industrial, I feel like they're more, how can I say this? I had this tray with like 200 plants in it, and I really was looking at the real estate side of it and thinking about, how many per square inch I was getting and all these plants. And it actually worked against me. And I did find, I lost a whole tray of plants, which was devastating because it was 200 plants. So I restarted them in a tray with less cells. So the 72 tray or maybe the one in between. You're not always doing yourself justice by doing the super teeny tiny ones. I really feel like you'll need to stop and think about what you're putting in it. Like I could use those. Those would probably be great for me to start my cactus and succulent seeds. I'm sitting on about 5,000 seeds of succulents that I need to start, but they say you do not pull them and replant them until at least, I think it was 3 to 6 months, because their roots are so fragile. So for me, that's probably what I should put in them, or or the plants that are smaller and more delicate. You definitely don't want to start like pumpkin or gourd seeds in those. You do want to use the little bit of bigger ones. So, and then you really want to monitor that, because those little tiny cells, you'll want to water more frequently, but not more water. It's like less water more often. And so again, that's where you'll have to really monitor that, because if you overwater and you have standing water, that's when you're going to get the gnats, you're going to get mold, you're going to get droop. I accidentally called it drop the other day. I think it's called droop. I've lost a whole tray of plants every year. I'll tell you, I'll lose a whole tray to drop. So just know that, like, don't give up and throw everything out and say you have a brown thumb. Know that it's happening to those of us that have done this for years. So again, not expertly done it for years, but it's nature, and you can't fight nature. Okay, you can't. You can do your best, but you can't stop nature. It's a freight train. You can't stop a hurricane or a tornado or a snowstorm. All you can do is prepare for it and do your best to be able to bear down and prepare for it. So that was the perfect analogy for gardening. I'm going to rig these up, and I may end it at that, or I should probably go out and grab those trays at least and go over those and get them in this video. Thanks, Sam the Midwest Handyman. Round 2. If you knew how short I was, it's actually funny that I have to squat down. Also, funny story. When I worked construction, if you knew how many, God bless hard hats, if you knew how many times I would smack my head on stuff, working in like a pipe chase or something like that, because in my tiny life, I have never had to duck for anything. And then I went onto a job site and just started whacking my head into freaking everything. So funny. Anywho, so I've got my lights rigged up. I actually did them a little bit lower in the front, so that they'll point more backwards. And so when I'm in here working with my plants, that I'm not getting blinded again, you want to get, I lost mine, so I'll have to order a new pair. I believe one of my sets of lights, I almost thought they came with one, but maybe I did order them. So I think someone thought they were cool green glasses, because they are. I mean, they're just green lenses that neutralizes that, but it's actually the UV protection that's on them, which could be on your regular glasses, but again, you're going to be still blinding yourself with the light, you know. Anywho, so I have 2 seed trays I was going to show you, and another thing is, if you're starting a whole bunch of different seeds at once, I take a paint marker and mark them out, and then this one must have worn off, or I didn't mark it. It looks like I never used this one, so I might not have finished, but I'll do like either A, B, or 1, 2, and then I'll do like A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7, and then I write it out in a book. I also write down the day I planted them, and I write down if it says it on the packet, the expected time for it to sprout. So that way I know if I've passed my mark. You know, I always give it another week or so, but if I've passed my mark, I've done something wrong, or my seeds are bad, or I just know that it's not going to sprout. It's just a way to help me keep track. Also, I'm a numbers nerd, and so I like to keep track of. Then I even write down when the first one sprouts and stuff like that. It's just a way for me to do research. Because again, we're all over the planet here, people. So what my seed packet says, that might be for California. We're all at different altitudes, humidities, and we all have different kinds of soil. If you're using, backyard soil as well, or whatever, I usually do it by a seed starting mix. But also, we all have different water. We all have differently treated water as well. You should try to gather some rainwater, even if it's just like a 5-gallon bucket. It is better for your plants. So I will try to do that. It's winter, but it rained yesterday. I should have put my bucket out. I didn't. That's my problem. But again, it just can be better for your seeds. Also, what you could do is, if you're going to take the gallon of water from the sink, and leave a gallon of water out for over 24 hours, just like you would a fish tank, and some of the chemicals will dissipate. Some won't. Obviously, I'm not a water expert, but that's just a little tip on the chemicals that are in our water, fluoride and all that stuff. So, we'll water debate on another flowers and politics video. But so this is a tray that holds, I want to say this was like 180 something. And then this is like your basic 79 cell seed tray. So again, I've done them in these, but it worked against me unless you're really keeping on them with the water and getting ready to like when to pluck them out and plant them in something bigger. So you'll need to decipher that for yourself. Most of you, if you're not ordering online, this is more what typically a greenhouse, commercial or, professional, large-scale greenhouse would probably use these. I'm a wannabe large-scale greenhouse. So, but anyways, this would be atypical for you. It's nice and deep, room for your roots. So one thing you will want to account for on your shelf also is that this is going to put it up 2 more inches. So what I ended up doing on my shelf is this will actually be, since the other ones were so much closer together, when my plant grows, it's not going to have room in these either. So this will be my vegetative state 8 to 12 inches. And then I won't probably have the second variants. I guess I could move them up a shelf on the bottom. Like I said, this shelf was pre-put together when I bought it. So I'm going to start them. My seedling one's clear there. And then maybe when I'm ready for the next stage, if I have room with those little seedlings, I'll put it up there. So another thing I did was these were just yard signs, but you can grab like that thick poster board at like, a Dollar Tree or the big corporate store for just a couple bucks. And this is just like literally one of those safety blankets, the survival blankets. And I was actually able to cut up, I only think I cut up one, and I actually got quite a few of these out of them. So I have a couple in another room. Last year I had 2 shelves set up, but I gave that shelf away. So I'll just have the one. But that's another way to help get that light, more at the base level to make your plants want to grow out and not just up towards the light. I haven't done it yet, but I'll want to rig a fan up. I do have a ceiling fan in here, and it's questionable whether it's enough or not. But you could get like a mini fan, because you don't want it like hardcore blowing on them. But when your seeds start to sprout out, you'll want maybe one of the ones that oscillates to blow some wind on your plants, and that will help your stalk of your plant stay strong, because that's like, what would happen in nature. It will also help keep the air circulating for like mold and other things. So it'll help with stagnancy as well. So definitely got to do that. Like, that's very important. So like, just go buy a cheap tiny fan, like maybe one of the desk clip ones would probably be perfect. Now, that being said, don't pump that bad boy on high, and you want to start out slow. You want to start out with low, And you may even want it indirectly so it's not pointing right at it, but you'll see them vibrate a little bit, and that's how I do it. And then eventually you could move it on. You'll have to make that decision for yourself, but you just need to have the air circulation, and you want to see a little bit of movement on them. You don't want them to mow over in the wind, because that's what's going to happen. If you live in the Midwest and you've ever seen a straight wind come through and knock down a bunch of cornfields, it's pretty intense. So anyways, those are my tips for starting them. And then again, so this is 11 1/4. If you don't know how to read a tape measure, there's a video on that. And then the bottom ones, I'm going to kind of guesstimate. I've got about 27 inches, it looks like. So that would hit me at, excuse me, that would hit me at the seedling stage, 24 to 36. So again, please remember, if you're following the gardening group, you're going to get bad advice from an expert. These lights are not the same as the old lights. The old lights, they had to be very, very close to them. These do not. These are LED. These are new technology. These are low output, low wattage. They're not shooting all that, whatever it's called, I can't remember, out toxicity out into the air around you. So just remember that. Do your research. It'll come with mine each came with a paper, but I'm not good at keeping paperwork, so I have a sticky note on my fridge. But you can do your research on that. They make bigger ones. You can get a much bigger, thicker one. I opted for just the small starter ones. I'll upgrade when I'm, back into a greenhouse again. Someday I'll tell you that story. It's like why I started this whole channel. So anyways, this is just a great starter for anyone who's wanting to start seeds indoor. Like I said, you could just do one tray. I'm going to rotate mine out because I want to have some to sell. And, but anybody can do it, and you should. Thanks, guys.